Good morning, it's Dale here. I'm just going to talk to you about one of my favourite things today, and that's Abaca paper, which we call tissue text because it's the name that was given to it at one stage. It's only a trade name. Abaca paper is a fibrous paper. It comes from the abaca tree. It's a bit tricky to get hold of at the moment. It comes in two weights. I like using both weights. It's got wet strength. You can laminate it to itself like I have here. That's different pieces. Some I've stitched on, some I've printed on, some I've just manipulated. And it's also called repair tissue for obvious reasons, because you can repair things with it. It's got lots of uses, and you can sponge it, paint it, stencil it, stitch it, layer it, glue it, batik it. It's strong enough it can take hot wax, and it's great for rubbings and all sorts of things like that. So I'm going to show you a few of the pieces that I've done over a period of time. This is just a piece that I've painted, and I often bond it to felt. You can see the felt, stitch it on. So some of it's been painted with Lumiere silver, some of it's been possibly Dynaflow or sprays, the moon glow sprays. I love using them from Lindy's. And then I've cut out my shapes and stitched it, and I sealed it at the end with acrylic wax. You could seal it with a matte medium, you could seal it with whatever it is that you use, and it's just very effective. Things like book covers, bags, you name it, you can use it for that. And then I print on it, and I print on it quite a lot. And I haven't necessarily got all these here with me, but that's a manuscript that I printed on when I was doing some stuff on illuminations, and I've bonded it to felt. And again, I've sprayed it with, sealed it with a wax of some sort, possibly acrylic wax I was using then, and it still holds itself very, very well. And then when I did my Tuscany thing, I've stamped it. You can stamp onto it with shapes, print onto it, color it, all sorts of things like that, and holds its own. And depending on what you spray it with, like walnut ink's really good, moonshadow mist, because they've got that walnut ink in them, or I've painted them with Lumiere and hair to get the effects. And then if you just take it, like here's some that's been sprayed with, I think, walnut ink, crumbled up and put out, and the possibilities of cutting it and using it. And got some other ones in here I like to stitch onto it, do rubbings, but twin stitch, and then I'll show you some. This is another one. This is my Marrakesh one, and you can see that I've used this is just the tissue text, and I've layered it with a bit of a paper napkin, but I've stitched, and how flexible it is and how strong it is to use. Someone asked me if it was synthetic. Certainly not. It's the fibers. If you look into at the paper, you can see the fibers in it. It's just pulling it apart a little bit. You can see some of the fibers. It's got the most wonderful versatility, and I print on it. So I will just tape it to, or bond it to fuse and tear, or you can use freezer paper, or just tape it to a piece like this. Just tape the end and then feed it through your printer, and it takes color extremely well. In fact, we sell packs of hand-dyed tissue text, and you can use it, you can tear it for collage, you can stitch it, you can bond it, as I've said. Look at the colors that it takes. And then I've got some others. I might have painted these. I think these ones have been sprayed with Lindy's Gang Moon Glow Starburst sprays. Such rich colors, and because they may run, I don't think they will, but if they did, I would just seal it with medium or something like that. And then I've used it on the gel press, and with stencils and stamps. Great, very great strength. I've done rubbings with Inktense pen crayons. Works really well. They're permanent. And then I've also printed on it, and here's a print from when I was in Marrakesh, and I've bonded when I've made silk paper with the cocoon strippings, I've just laid this on the top, and when it's wet, with the hot iron, it's sealed it, and you can see that it hasn't changed the feel of it at all. There it is. And that's another one that I did that I've put onto tissue text. I've stitched it on, but it's a piece that's been printed on a piece of tissue text on Abaca paper and then bonded to a background. So these are some of the sorts of building up layers on it and the strength that it has. And you can pull out little bits when you need them for whatever it is you're doing. Here's a piece that's been printed. It was a meal we had. It's not that clear, but it's come out there. And other pieces, once you're working on it, stitch onto it. And also you can laminate it. So I've put between two layers and some gossamer fuse. That's the fine fusible webbing, so you can't see. It's really good for sheer things, and put other things onto it. So I've made a laminated piece. So that's just some of the things you can do. There's so much you can do with it. It's wonderful. And these ones that we've got now, our hand dyed ones, are just gorgeous. Saves you having to colour them. And they're all dyed with by Jacinta. Just beautiful the way it picks up all the things, so they're available in packs of 11. So I hope that's given you a few ideas. We'll see you again another time. Bye.